This is a short video on how to provide answers to the assessment questions that you posed in part 1 of your EBP. So, as you can see, this is the case study that we had referenced when we were looking at how to come up with an assessment plan and how to complete the Riot matrix in terms of the 3 columns. As you see here, these are answers to the assessment questions that were posed in the part 1 of this EBP case study. So the first assessment question is, what instructional strategies and individualized supports best help AG learn? As you can see underneath, the field-based candidate posed the answer here. AG learns best when he is provided with manipulatives as well as visual supports when learning new material. Using a manipulative to teach time to the student will allow him to learn by physically moving and viewing the clock. The student also benefits from the use of a calculator to support his mathematical computations. Additionally, the student benefits from small group or one-on-one instruction when learning new content. So, while the field-based candidate was performing his or her Riot process, they were building up a trail of evidence, and the evidence was to support answers to the assessment questions. They then summarized those pieces of evidence and put them into this answer. Underneath, they have supporting evidence that they found in their Riot process. So as you can see under number 1, they are referencing an interview with AG's special education teacher, in which the teacher said that the student works best with concepts when using physical manipulatives to support his learning. He enjoys working with manipulatives, and giving the student a manipulative to use when learning about elapsed time may make acquiring the skill more natural to the student. As you will recall, this case study student, the area of concern was elapsed time. In number 2, the field-based candidate references the student's IEP and that the accommodations, in the accommodations section, the student has visual aids, a table of math facts, a calculator, manipulatives, repetition, extra practice. So again, circling back to this trail of evidence that support the use of manipulatives within an intervention. Then number 3, they're referencing the anecdotal record. So this is an observation. The student needed a calculator to make change when given a $20 bill. So a calculator is a support. They also mentioned that in number 2 in terms of accommodations from the IEP. So as you can see, they're building a case for where multiple sources are citing the student needing the same things. And then finally in number 4, in the interview with the special education teacher, again, she stated that the student learns best when he's a small group or one-on-one setting. And a small group is part of the student's IEP accommodations. So when he's learning in a small group, he's able to have more focused and individualized instruction. The field-based candidate then also references an ABC observation where the student shared examples with the class and was also willing to read aloud. He communicated more during small group instruction rather than when he was in large group instruction. So when you are answering assessment questions, you need to kind of summarize the answer in that answer section. And then in terms of the supporting evidence, you're going to need to find at least 3 different references to Riot data. So you can reference something that you found either in the review of records, in interviewing people, in observations, maybe in testing data that support the answer to that assessment question. This case study can be found under module activities in 391, and you are going to answer question number 2 in terms of the assessment questions. There will be, under module activities, there is going to be a question box for you to submit your answer to the assessment question, to the second assessment question. So you are going to submit your answer and then at least 3 pieces of supporting evidence from this case study.